I paid my sister's rent, cleared her debt, and let her borrow my car. She crashed it and called the cops on me. My parents took her side. So I left them a gift they'll never forget. Hey everyone. Before we kick off today's video, I've got a favor to ask. We've noticed our channel isn't getting as much love lately, and subscribing is one of the easiest ways you can help us out. It's quick, free, and it means we can keep bringing you awesome content. Your support really means a lot, so let's work together to keep this channel growing. Thanks a bunch. Now, let's dive into the video. Hey, I'm Michael Carter, 32, and for a big chunk of my life, I've been cleaning up after my younger sister Jessica. She's 26 but acts more like a teenager, never had a steady job, never saved any money, and doesn't take responsibility for anything. Basically, I became her safety net because our parents decided she was too fragile for real life. Mom always said she needed time to find herself, while Dad just avoided dealing with her entirely. So, when Jessica dropped out of college and moved back home, it became my job to sort out her messes. Michael, you're the responsible one, she just needs a little help, they'd say. That little help turned into a constant financial drain, paying her rent, covering her credit card debt from all those shopping sprees and trips, and even picking up her car insurance when she couldn't be bothered to remember. One day, she took things way too far. I got a casual text from her saying, "Hey, took your car for the weekend trip. You weren't using it, right? My car, the one I've been busting my butt to pay off." I called her immediately, my heart racing, and asked, "What do you mean you took my car?" She sighed like I was making a big deal out of nothing and said, "Relax, Mike, it's just for the weekend." I was fuming because it's my car, not hers. But before I could say more, she hung up. I knew telling our parents wouldn't help, they'd just say, "It's just a car, she's your sister. Don't be selfish." So, I let it slide, even though I shouldn't have. At 2 a.m., my phone rang, waking me up. Jessica was crying, "Mike, I got into an accident." My head spun. "Are you okay?" I asked. "I think so, but the car. It's totaled," she said. Everything blurred, the car, the responsibility. Then she dropped the usual bomb, "Mike, I need you to come here. The cops are being so unfair. Just tell them everything's fine, okay?" She wanted me to cover for her, again. I took a deep breath and said, "No, I won't." She was silent for a moment, probably shocked I'd finally said no. Then she exploded, "Are you kidding me, Michael? You're really going to let your sister handle this alone?" I knew what she meant by everything the years of cleaning up her messes. I said, "You stole my car, Jess. You crashed it, and now you want me to take the blame? Do you even hear yourself?" She laughed bitterly, twisting the story as usual. I knew what she'd tell our parents, "Michael doesn't care about me." But I was done. "Call Mom and Dad," I said. "Maybe they'll finally step up. I'm out." The next morning, my parents blew up my phone. "Michael, your sister could have died. She's your family, step up." I just felt tired, not guilty, not frustrated. I ignored the messages, the calls, until my dad showed up at my place. "Get dressed," he demanded. "We're going to the hospital." I almost laughed. "No, we're not." Dad glared at me. "You're acting like a selfish brat. Your sister needs you." But I realized, maybe it was time for her to finally face the consequences of her actions. I crossed my arms and said, "So, you're telling me she needs my money?" Dad didn't even blink. "She's family, Michael. You can't just turn your back on family." I let out a slow sigh. It's funny how that idea only comes up when it's about me giving and Jessica taking. Dad's jaw clenched. "You're making this harder than it needs to be," he said. "No, Dad, you made it harder when you decided Jessica's life was my job instead of yours. She's your daughter. Why don't you pay her medical bills?" He snapped back, "We don't have that kind of money." Ah, there it was, the real reason we were having this chat. I tilted my head and said, "But I do, huh? That's what this is all about. It's always about the money with you guys." Dad's face flushed red. "Michael, this is your last chance. Either you help, or you're out of this family." I laughed, a real belly laugh. "Out of this family?" I repeated. "Dad, I was never really in it. I was just the emergency cash fund you all guilt-tripped into keeping the house running." I took a step back, grabbed the door, and said, "Good luck with Jessica," staring right into his eyes. "Because I'm done." With that, I shut the door in his face. 2 days went by, no calls, no texts. I thought I'd feel relieved, finally free, no more last-minute money transfers to Jessica, no more guilt trips from Mom, no more Michael, be a good brother. But something felt off. Jessica wasn't the type to go down quietly. Then, on the third day, my world flipped upside down. At 7 a.m., I was jolted awake by loud banging on my front door, not knocking, banging. I opened up, still groggy, to find 2 cops standing there. "Michael Carter?" one of them asked, and my stomach just sank. "Yeah." The taller officer pulled out a notepad and said, "We need to talk to you about a stolen vehicle report." My blood ran cold. "Stolen? What?" The officer kept a straight face. "Your sister, Jessica Carter, claims you stole her car, crashed it, and abandoned her at the scene." For a second, I laughed. "Excuse me? My car? The one I paid for, which she took without asking." The officer didn't budge. "Do you have proof of ownership?" I stared at him. Of course, I had proof. The car was in my name. But what really shook me was the sheer audacity of it all. Jessica had completely flipped the story, and my parents had backed her up. The officer continued, "She also said you threatened her, that after the accident, you refused to help her, left her stranded, and told her she'd regret it." My fists clenched. "That's a complete lie." The officer glanced at his partner. "Then you won't mind coming down to the station to clear things up." I could barely breathe. Jessica wasn't just trying to guilt trip me this time, she was trying to ruin me. At the station, they led me into a small, cold room with buzzing fluorescent lights. I sat in an uncomfortable metal chair, heart pounding. A different officer sat across from me with a file in hand. "Michael," he said, "let's start from the beginning. Tell me what happened that night." I laid it all out, the stolen car, the crash, the call, how Jessica demanded I cover for her, and how my parents took her side. The officer listened, taking notes. "Do you have any evidence of this?" he asked. My fingers twitched. "Yes." I pulled out my phone and scrolled to find Jessica's original text admitting she took my car. I slid the phone across the table. "Read it." As the officer read, his eyebrows went up. It hit him, she was lying. Well, he murmured. "That's interesting." He left the room for a moment and returned with a copy of Jessica's statement. I almost laughed, it was so full of lies it was pathetic. She claimed I took the car while she was asleep, crashed it while drunk, and left her to deal with the police. And at the bottom, the worst part, witnesses David and Linda Carter, my own parents, confirming Jessica's story. My heart pounded as I leaned back in my chair, but I kept my voice calm. "Officer, I'd like to file my own report," I said. He raised an eyebrow. "Against your sister?" "Yes," I said, taking a deep breath. "Jessica Carter stole my vehicle. I never gave her permission. I want to press charges." The officer hesitated. "You're sure about this?" I'd never been more sure in my life. "I want to file for grand theft auto." Just like that, the tables had turned. The fallout, by the time I got home my phone was blowing up with calls from my parents. Mom sounded frantic. "Michael, what did you do?" Dad was all serious. "Drop this now, you're messing up Jessica's life." And then Mom again. "She's your sister, family forgives." But the kicker was Jessica's message, "You're dead to me." Even though my heart was racing, I found myself smiling. For the first time, I felt free. I'd expected drama, but not this fast. By the time the cops wrapped up checking my stolen car report, Jessica was in way over her head. She wasn't just looking at a slap on the wrist, she was facing real felony charges. Grand theft auto isn't a joke, and neither is lying in a police report. The real blow came when she lost her job, the thing she cared about most. The next morning, instead of Jessica or my parents, I got a call from her boss. "This is Dana Fields from Hamilton and Company," she said. I blinked. Jessica worked there? Why were they calling me? "We're investigating one of our employees, Jessica Carter," Dana explained. "You were named as a character witness for an internal review regarding legal matters." I managed to keep calm. "Legal matters? You mean like stealing my car and filing a bogus report?" Dana went silent. "Then, I see. That's all we needed." Jessica started blowing up my phone shortly after. First call at 10:37 a.m., ignored it. Second call at 10:42 a.m., ignored again. Third call, she left a voicemail, "Michael, you ruined my life. They fired me. I hope you're happy, you disaster." I deleted it halfway through. Fourth call, 11:02 a.m., I finally picked up. Jessica was fuming, "Not sorry. You need to fix this," she demanded. I laughed. "Fix what? The mess you made?" She shrieked about losing her job, her unpaid apartment. I stayed cool, "Not my problem." She tried to play it sweet, the way she always did when she wanted something. "Mike, please, I need your help. I've got nowhere else." There it was, she wanted money. But she wasn't sorry, she was scared. For once, I wasn't bailing her out. I let the silence hang before saying, "Welcome to reality, Jess," and hung up. I knew my parents wouldn't back off easily. That evening, they showed up at my place. I didn't even let them in. "What do you want?" I asked. Mom was sharp. "You need to fix this, Michael." Dad added, "Your sister lost everything 'cause of you." I laughed. "Because of me or because she lied to the cops?" Mom's eyes narrowed, she was desperate. I shot back, "Or she could have owned up for once." They wanted me to let Jessica move in. I looked them straight in the eyes. "No." Mom looked like I'd slapped her. "Michael, she's your sister." Dad was all about family forgiveness. I took a deep breath, "Not this time," and closed the door. I heard Mom gasp, Dad mutter something, but I didn't care. I locked the door and walked away. Wow, where do I even start with this one? So, a few days after I hit this real low point, I get this message from Jessica saying she's leaving town. She basically blames me for everything, saying I got what I wanted, and she hopes I can live with myself. I just stared at my phone, not feeling guilty at all because, finally, for once, I chose myself. Jessica was out of my life, and everything went quiet. No family group chat, no calls, no guilt trips, no demands for money. I was alone for the first time in ages, and it felt weirdly empty. I mean, I should have felt relieved, right? The toxic cycle was broken. But it still felt like I was standing in the middle of a battlefield after a war. I guess part of me believed she'd change someday or still wanted to be her brother. Then, there's this knock at the door, a hesitant knock. I checked my phone, but there were no calls or messages. I opened the door, and there she was, Jessica. She looked a mess, like she had lost everything. Her usual attitude was gone, and all I saw was desperation. "Jessica," I said, and my voice was cold. She looked at me, scared, and said, "Michael, I have nowhere else to go." I was just staring at her, and all this anger and exhaustion was boiling within me. All those nights working overtime to pay her bills, all those times she called me selfish, all those demands from our parents. And now she's here, asking for help. "Michael, please," she whispered. My jaw tightened. "You try to get me arrested, Jess." She flinched. "I know." I let out a slow breath. "You expect me to just forget that?" Jessica looked down. "I don't expect anything. I just have nothing left." I could see she was telling the truth. Job gone, evicted, no friends. She said she didn't need money or a place to stay, just needed her brother back. It wasn't manipulation, it was just raw honesty. And that scared me because I knew this was the moment I had to make a decision. All my life I'd been her safety net, but I knew she needed to hit rock bottom. She needed to learn. She must have seen the decision on my face because she panicked. "Michael, don't do this. I swear I'll change. Just give me a chance." I exhaled sharply. "I gave you 100 chances. You're my brother, you're supposed to help me," she said, expecting me to always be there. My hands clenched into fists. "And what about you, Jess? What have you ever done for me?" She was silent, just blinking at me. "I mean it, what have you ever done for me?" I stepped closer. "You wrecked my car, tried to get me arrested, lied to our parents. Now you want forgiveness because you're out of options?" "Michael, I thought we were family," she said, her voice trembling. "A family doesn't do what you did to me," I replied quietly. She looked like I'd slapped her. "I hope you figure things out, Jess, but I can't be in your life anymore." Her breath hitched. "Michael, please." "Goodbye, Jess," I said, and closed the door. Fast forward 2 months, and I'd moved on to a new city with a new job and a fresh start. No more calls from my parents or messages from Jessica. And you know what? I didn't miss them. I was finally living for myself. Some nights, I'd think about her and wonder if she was okay, but then I'd remember all those years I spent sacrificing myself for someone who never appreciated it. This was the only way she'd learn. I wasn't angry or bitter anymore, just free. And I never looked back. So, there's your update. Jessica's out of my life, and I'm moving forward. So, my parents aren't talking to me, and honestly, I've never felt better. The reactions to my story have been totally wild. Some of you are cheering me on, while others think I've got a heart of stone. Let's dive into this. To everyone who backed me up, thank you. Your encouragement means the world, and hearing your stories about cutting ties with toxic family members made me feel way less alone. Setting boundaries is tough, especially when you've been taught that it means sacrificing. But you've got to ask, sacrifice for whom and at what cost? Jessica had years to change and take responsibility, but instead, she just doubled down, lied, and tried to wreck my life. Choosing myself wasn't selfish, it was totally necessary. And now, the peace I have is something I never imagined. For those who think I went too far, I hear you. Cutting off family is a big deal, and it's not something I did lightly. Some of you think I should have forgiven Jessica, helped her out, or tried harder with my folks. But why should I always be the one to fix things when I wasn't the one who broke them? Why forgive someone who not only stole from me but also tried framing me with a false police report? After a while, you just have to say enough is enough, and I reached that point. So, where are we now? Jessica is out of my life. Last I heard, she was crashing at friends' places and then vanished from social media. My parents are still upset since I refused to take her in. But I'm happier than ever, new job, new city, and no more feeling guilty. So, what do you all think? Was I right, or do you think I should have handled it differently? I'd love to hear your thoughts.